Welcome to Chapter 5, Section 9, Dividing Fractions. To begin with, what you're going to need to know, and this is the only really one of the new pieces of this section, are that any two numbers whose product is 1 are called reciprocals. Now, basically reciprocals, all you really have to do is flip a fraction. All right, so that means 1/3, flip a fraction, 3/1. That means 2/5, flip a fraction, means 5/2. And the definition, 1/3 times 3/1, that equals 1 times 3, 3 times 1, 3/3, which is 1. So by flipping the fraction over, you're making it equivalent to 1. You do have to be a little bit careful. You do have to, at first, whole numbers equal the number divided by 1. Then that becomes 1 over that whole number. So what we're talking about for this is that the number 3 is really 3/1, which means the reciprocal is 1/3. The number 10 is really 10/1, so the reciprocal is 1/10. That's what this is talking about. So when you look at the first example, since 7 times something is 1, the reciprocal of 7, we're going to work backwards, is 1/7. Because you take the whole number and you flip it over. The reciprocal of 3/8 is 8/3. You take the fraction and you flip it over. Because 3 times 8 is 24. 8 times 3 is 24. And 24 over 24 equals 1. So why don't you pause the video and try to find the reciprocals of these. Okay, and if you didn't have time to pause it, here come the answers. 4, remember I told you to make it a fraction over 1. So when you flip it, it becomes 1/4. Here, when you flip this fraction, it becomes 7/5. So it's very important to know about reciprocals, because since the title of this section is dividing fractions, when dividing fractions, you divide a fraction by multiplying by its reciprocal. That means you're going to have 2 over a fraction, 2/3, or you'll have 2 divided by the fraction 2/3. And all you have to do is change the division symbol to multiplication and multiply by its reciprocal. 2/3 flipped becomes 3/2. So looking at this, 1/3 divided by 5/6. The key concept says to multiply by the reciprocal. Not the reciprocal of the first one, but the reciprocal of what you are dividing by. So 6/5. All right. Now there are 2 ways to go from here. You could do, when you do 1/3 times 6/5, that equals 6/15. Or, according to this, 6 and 3 can be reduced. Meaning 3 goes into 3 one time, 3 goes into 6 2 times. And so now I have my already reduced fraction. My already reduced fraction of 2/5. If you don't like that way, or if that confuses you, you really should practice it, but you could go ahead and just divide each number here by 3 to get the 2/5 that we're looking for. Here's another example. This time we have a whole number. Whole numbers, remember, can be written as 5/1. multiply by the reciprocal of 1/6. Well, the reciprocal is flipping this to 6/1, which becomes 30/1, or simply 30. So that's multiplying by a reciprocal. Here is a check your progress. 1/4 divided by 7/12. A division by a fraction, you flip. So it should be 1/4 times the flip, 12/7. And this is where you have two ways of doing it. 1 times 12 is 12. 4 times 7 is 28. Or you can look at 12, you can look at 4, and say, all right, the greatest common factor is 4. So I'm going to divide this by 4 and get 1. Divide this by 4 and get 3. And so your final answer is 3/7. All right, but you could have done that division of 4, or do the simplification at the end, and still received a 3/7 answer. 3 divided by 1/3. Okay, you're dividing by a fraction, so we flip. 3 times 3/1. Well, the numerator's 3 times 3. The denominator's 1 times 1. And our answer is 9. All right. Here's divide by a whole number. A relay race is 3/4 of a mile long. There are 4 runners in the race. What portion of a mile will each runner run? So what we're doing is we're dividing 3/4 into 4 equal parts. 3/4 divided by 4. When you're dividing by a whole number, you still multiply by reciprocal. So the reciprocal of 4, well, 4 is 4/1. So when we flip it, becomes 1/4. So 3/4 times 1/4. 3 times 1 is, so 3 times 1. 4 times 4 gives us 3/16 of a mile. That's how much each runner will run. Take a look at this. You should pause the video. See if you can do the same thing. Becky needs to cut half of the poster board into 5 equal sizes. So half times 5 equal sizes equals. Pause the video and try to work this out on your own. If you're not sure, keep watching and I'll try here for you. So half of 5. Oh, not half times 5. I'm sorry. You're dividing. Oops. You're dividing. All right, so if you tried multiplying, you're going to need to pause the video a second time and try it with division. Well, dividing by 5 is the same as multiplying by 1/5. So we have 1 times 1, 2 times 5 equals 1/10. And that's it. 1/10 of the original size. All right, so what you need to work on, you need to complete the CYUs on page 295. You need to do problems 1 through 11. Then, of course, in class, this will be our classwork. All right, good luck.